You mentioned when the spirit leaves the body or the life force leaves the body. The body does its decomposing or its transformation, and then the life force does its transformation. And you mentioned two kinds of transformation. In one breath you mentioned it, I think, transmigration, I think you said, and then merging with the Absolute, returning with the Absolute.
Yeah.
So maybe just some elaboration on that. They're both very intriguing and interesting.
Sure. Yeah. Very good one, Howard. Very good one. Because this gives us an opportunity to actually speak about it now. Well, guess what? To start with, no one lives anywhere. This is a radical understanding, and this is the most important understanding. It's only a matter of speech.
Okay, just to be clear, did you say no one lives anywhere or leaves anywhere?
No one lives anywhere. Like if I leave this room, I would go through the door and I'm left. I'm not in this room anymore.
Right.
That's not the kind. It does not happen when we speak of what we just have spoken. The soul does not leave the body in that way. So let's just have a proper perspective on this whole thing. This will give us a great understanding also while we are in the body. In other words, what happens on the level of elementary existence, on the level of what we call embodied existence, continues in that assembly and reassembly of the elements. So on a level of gross expression, on the level of, let's say, expression of these physical laws, that's all there is this assembly and reassembly. But soul does not depart in a way, it does not leave anywhere, it does not fly out into a space. It's already there where it is. It's already in the Absolute forever. So this movement, it's as it were, only belongs to a linear thinking itself, and as it is, it belongs to the language, to the matter of speech. So when you pose this question, it immediately requires this very answer and this understanding that nothing leaves anything. What belongs to the level of the physiology and to the level of the matter remains on the level of the matter. Just as now in you and in me things are dying in buckets and being reborn, in the same way the physiology will be then, as we established earlier, dropped and decomposed. But nothing happened. You see? Nothing happened. It's like we put now sand on a glass table and start rearranging it in different shapes. In this shape and that shape. Some shape means something, the other shape doesn't mean nothing. Patterns. Rearranging the patterns. Molecular structures are being formed into complexity and then become into another forms of retaining that complexity but no longer appear as this body. So soul does not go anywhere, it does not go like, it may be, metaphorically speaking, or maybe the experience itself is as such. But the samadhi gives us answer. That samadhi, the state of full absorption, gives us the answer that nobody goes anywhere. The soul is already at home. In that meditation at the beginning of this gathering was a proof of the pudding. That what you have breathed into and connected to does not go, does not come, because it never was born and never will die. The soul may be caught in transmigratory existence, but it is forever in that, which is the heart of your own being. How about that? How about contemplating that for an answer? As I said, it will give you a very different, qualitatively different understanding, even what is happening now in you and in your life, in your body. Otherwise, you will measure this process by this embodiment, that incarnation, this incarnation. In this body, I'm incarnated as Igor, and in a previous body, I was incarnated as a cat named Bella. It doesn't work like that. You see what I mean?
I feel like it is yes and no. I mean, yes, I see, yes, I know,
Yeah.
but also, yes, it works. For me, I have a sense of it being, yes, that is, of course, obvious or from my own experience, and not just intellectually, logically, but including that. But also, in some sense, it almost feels like you yourself were talking about the separation
Yes.
of body and life force.
Mm-hmm.
And you used those for
Yeah.
transmigration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. As a matter of speech, to explain something. But as your question came, like with anything, in maths, 4 plus 4 is 8, or 2 plus 2 is 4. But in high math, 2 plus 2 equals 5. It contradicts the maths, but it does not contradict the high mathematics. Because that reply was applicable to what we have been addressing. But since you came up with that, I thought I was giving this as an opportunity to give us an yet even greater understanding of how all this relates together. You see, all this is being sustained, or let's just use that classical, let's say, Hindu language, right? Let's use that classical trinity. All this is being created, sustained, and destroyed or dissolved by the same power and by the same authority. And it happens at all times, at every moment, at any scale, at infinitesimal level, at the level of which you have spoken about, that every time there's something dies in you and something is being reborn in you. So on the level of physiology, there will be simply come a time when this physiology will simply die in a sense of, we spoken about earlier, as it will have to return to the elements. But to say that elements themselves die, it's an oxymoron, because they don't die. The water that I just drank is of the same composition as it was billions of years ago. It did not change. It didn't even evolve. H2O did not need to evolve. You see? At the same time, at the subtle level, there is also life force is carried. At the subtle level, it's the same process. Whether you're alive or dead, it's the same processes. This is the truly tapping into the flow of evolution. Your soul moves regardless whether it's in the body or not. It's forever in that. It's like, now, imagine this, it's as if it's like embodied. It's that kind of a moment in time when it's given that opportunity, when it hits this vehicle, this body. That's why you have to grab that opportunity. Because a lot of things can be achieved. But at the same time, that soul in the body, but it's not attached or dependent on the body. Paradox, isn't it?
And while it's in the body, whether it's 20 years, 70 years, 110 years, and then it's I like that visualization of it. That's what we call personality. That's what comes to me. It seems like this life, this embodied life.
I call it an opportunity. I like that opportunity. It's an opportunity in consciousness for that soul. Literally to have that quantum leap. It's an opportunity for the soul to cut the flow of evolution short when it's in a human body.
What do you mean by cut it short? To
Well, otherwise it might transmigrate through many other life forms. This is one of those kind of like a strange assumptions that we always get the human body. It's not necessarily so. Even if we apply that classical understanding, prevalent in many traditions, the law of cause and effect does not guarantee that whatever there is being stored by the sum total of our actions necessarily will necessarily manifest a new body, or even if we do, we will not necessarily manifest favorable circumstances for this work to be continued. So I'm kind of going a little bit on the horizontal plane to give you this example of the validity of that, right? Temporal superimposition, if you will. But going back, I just want to impress you with that, is that nobody goes anywhere. You see? It feels as it is. Like, if you will, it's like in a dream you can travel very fast, right? You can actually travel on a train, on an airplane, in a rocket, whatever. Fly in the sky. But you're just lying down in bed and not moving, totally relaxed. Not a muscle is being, And yet you're flying like a Superman.
But are you saying that's an illusion? You think you are, but you're not, or is it more that?
I'm giving you that as a negative example of this, because the example with the dream is like an illusion, right? But here it has a different quality to it. It's a reality. In reality, your soul does not go and come back. It's forever in the self. This is the self-realization, Howard. It's not talking about it.